Sixth Sense Spiritual Health with Teresa Joubert. Hey everybody, it's Teresa Joubert. I just wanted to say hi and pop on and talk about how do we navigate through thunderstorms. So right now, it's COVID-19, 2020. It's a difficult time, very difficult time. I've been learning a bit about what we do in times of crisis. And in times of crisis, like what do we do? How do we navigate that? Emotionally, what happens with us? Emotionally, what happens with us during times of crisis is we freeze. It's like a freeze. Hey, Darlene. So I'm concerned about school stuff. So I'm glad you've hopped on, because it's like, do we send our kids to school or do we keep them home? There's kind of like nothing in between right now. I was kind of hoping that we'd be presented with half a week on, half a week at home, like something where we can navigate that, and it's like either all or nothing. And a lot of parents are struggling with having our kids at home because we're still working. So trying to find that balance between having the kids at home and having them back to work, it would be really nice to have them go back to school. And then there's these people who think that COVID-19 isn't even a real thing. And that's driving me a little bit up the wall, because, I'm a medium. I've connected to people that have passed from COVID. I have clients that have lost family members from COVID. There's some children that have passed from COVID. It's a real thing. And I think people are questioning whether or not it's real, and it's real, and we need to take preventative cautionary steps. So, I just feel like everybody's in the dark right now, and it's causing this tension that me as an empath and me being in the situation, I can feel it. Like it's like static on a television, and it just kind of like, it's like we're in crisis mode. Do we make a decision? Do we not make a decision? What do we do here? And, I think that this can be kind of extrapolated into everyday life with other decisions, not just whether or not we send our kids back to school. But it's interesting how this is kind of just coming out now. It's difficult. I've been really struggling with this whole thing because we're not being presented with enough information to make a decision. For me to be able to be comfortable with sending my kids back to school, I want to know what's happening at school. Do they have any air filtration systems? Did you know that there is an air filtration system that emits plasma into the air? And we have it in our home here. It's from a company called Pura Home, and they're amazing, and they're in St. Catharines. We have an air filtration system in our home that emits plasma, and it has a UV filter. If that was put into the schools, the kids would not get sick from breathing in other people's recycled air, because the plasma would kill viruses and bacteria and mold and dust mites on contact, and it's safe for kids. It's safe for everybody. So if we just had that in the school, I'm thinking let's donate some of those. Let's gather some people. Let's create some funding and donate air filtration units for each of the classrooms. Then I would feel safe. I would feel good about that. I would be okay with it. I don't know what kind of hand sanitize stations that they have. I don't know how often kids are going to be encouraged to wash their hands. So there's all these questions about what's going to happen. And yeah, so that's just kind of the energy that I've been in for the past couple of days is when we're provided with nothing, there's tension that builds up, that there's a lack of communication, okay? Lack of communication. And I can just extrapolate this whole situation into another scenario, like how people don't want to talk about the elephant in the room when we're having difficult relationships with other people. Just today I had a session with a client, and there were quite a few things that came up emotionally that needed to come up, just needed to come up and get talked about. Maybe it'll help if I show you the aura. I'll show you. It's really pretty. Beautiful colors. Okay, this is the aura that I drew today. Really beautiful colors. So this is very psychic and intuitive, and these are strong teacher colors, but this down here is trauma. That's trauma. This usually, when there's like a fiery color on the top, it's like that person is upset. They're kind of more explosive, more passionate, and like there's issues that need to be dealt with. Like for me, that's the elephant in the room. The trauma is causing this like flare up of like sunset colors at the top, and sunset colors at the top of the aura mean that somebody can be in inflammation mode with their health. So, you know, by not dealing with trauma, it's like it can stem up and cause other issues, and it's like a snowball effect. And I really want to encourage people to be brave enough to deal with stuff, to deal with hard issues. A lot of the times we want to just kind of like freeze. We just freeze. We don't know how to make decisions in that space. We don't know what to do, and it's tough. So, you know, I've been dealing with this decision making about school, and it's been a little bit hard. So I just wanted to kind of show you that to be extrapolated into another situation is issues in a relationship. Are we going to talk about it? Or are we just going to kind of try to brush it under the carpet? When we try to brush issues underneath the carpet, it's like having an elephant in the room, and we need to talk about things. We need to like deal with them, bring them out, talk about them, fix them, deal with it. Just deal with it. I think that once we make a decision and we deal with something and we decide, then life's a lot easier. I also think that when we talk about trauma or a situation that has been like weighing down on us, we kind of bring that up and we deal with it, that life becomes easier because we feel lighter. So it's not easy to talk about the elephant in the room, but right now the elephant in the room is our kids gonna go back to school. If they go back to school, like I predict that children will go back to school probably for a month or two, and then there will be an outbreak, a huge one, and everything will be shut down again. It'll be during cold and flu season, and there will be another outbreak, and then we'll all have to stay home again, and we're going to go through this same thing again. And then for Christmas, you know, we're going to be in lockdown. We're not going to be able to see each other for Christmas. So I don't know. I just really want to encourage people to be safe, and to be safe, I think we need to take like preventative measures at schools, like putting in an air filtration unit that has plasma, and making sure that there's proper hand washing stations. Hand washing stations work. Hand sanitizing stations don't really work. And I know everybody thinks that they do. Maybe they do. Maybe they work like pretty good, but hand washing stations would be awesome. This video that I'm doing today, I just really wanted to address how there are elephants in the room that we don't talk about, and that's frustrating. I think that we need to talk about things, because when they build up and they build up and we don't talk about them, you know, there's usually something happens, and we can prevent things like that from happening. So yeah, anyway, thank you for coming on and watching me have a little bit of a rant talk about school and kids going back to school and whether or not that's safe, and then extrapolating that into dealing with things and dealing with issues and dealing with the elephant in the room and dealing with trauma when we have it between relationships. I know that they're separate entities, but energetically it's a thunderstorm, and we need to be able to kind of like navigate through that. Women usually like to talk. We like to talk it out. Men usually go inward and they go into a bit of a cave mode. Either way, I think we kind of freeze with what we do. We just kind of go into static mode, and it's okay to be in that space. I was posting about that yesterday. It's okay to be in that space. Sometimes it's not good to make a decision or a rash decision when we're in that sort of like panic state. So we have to weigh things out and then trust our intuition. Trust those gut feelings and make sure that those gut feelings aren't just being guided by fear from everybody else. So trusting your gut and working on clearing the excess emotions that build up is a really good exercise. Thank you for joining me, and I hope you have a fabulous rest of the evening. And I hope that I've encouraged you to deal with the elephant in the room. Thanks for listening.
Sixth Sense Spiritual Health with Teresa Joubert.